Hey, good afternoon, everybody. John here at Havoc Maker Studio, and let's get into this. So, today I want to go ahead and cover, at least for the second segment today, the kind of a breakdown of what I'm predicting, and some of you have predicted we might see with Heimdall for his character stat card for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Plus, also at the end of this video, do another little deep dive, or at least kind of give you a walkthrough of what myself and a couple other, I guess, data mining that we do to help support our rumors that we find from other people, or we get from other people, or our predictions, whatnot. So we'll go over that, especially in regards to Red Guardian and Urza, and of course, Black Star and Crimson Dynamo, the Winter Guard models that we've been talking about for about a week or so now. So let's get right into Heimdall. So Heimdall is going to be coming out with Scourge coming, it looks like as of right now, worldwide. And I've double checked France, UK, US, Spain, Panage. I'm not sure how I pronounced it. I've checked various other sources, and everything's pointing towards the 6th of June, the 10th of June, which should put us the second week of June, and we're right now looking at about 28 days for that to happen. It'll be released on the Friday, right in the middle of the Atomic Mass Games mini extravaganza. So that's when we should be seeing this box set. It says Q3 on their website. It says Q2 on Asmodee's website. So does this mean that it's going to come out June 10th? I don't know, guys. I don't know. You never know with Atomic Mass Games and Asmodee, because they both put down different dates. They both put down different quarters of release. And even when they put down that quarter, looking at you, Quinjet, they push it back. It's their prerogative. It's their product. And we have delays, shipping delays. Though some people might be saying, well, everything going on in the Ukraine. Well, you know what? Asmodee and Atomic Mass Games are not in the Ukraine. They're not in the whole war with Russia. And in fact, a little later on in the video, I'll be telling you where that product ships out from and where it arrives, at least here in the US. But let's get into Heimdall. Now, Heimdall, I'm going to use this term loosely, historically, is one of the Vanir. He's one of the old gods. He's one of the race that would go to war with the Azir, like Thor and Odin. And eventually that war would come to a conclusion, and the two different people, the two different cultures would become the Asgardians. Now, Heimdall has been around for quite some time. He has the normal superhuman physique of most Asgardians, or Vanir, Azir, however you want to pronounce them. We're just going to use the generic term of Asgardians. He is quite stronger than the average Asgardian, which I've already noted before is around 30 tons. Excuse me. And he is pushing 50 tons, so just a little bit less than Scourge that we covered earlier this week, and definitely about half of what Thor's able to do, but he's above what Sif can do. Basically, he's really freaking strong. He, unlike other Asgardian, this might be because of his Vanir lineage, is that he has a regenerative healing factor. He can pretty much heal up. I don't think it's as fast or as robust as, say, Wolverine or X-23 Sabretooth and such, but he does have it. It is a noted ability. Then he has, what he's really famous for is the superhuman acute senses. He can hear, smell, see, taste, feel everything to a superhuman level. He also has the ability to see across time and space. We've seen that demonstrated numerous times, at least in the MCU, and of course in the comics. And that is his big claim to fame. Then he also has the ability for teleportation. That's mainly through his use of the Bifrost, but he also has the ability to project an avatar of himself into or down to Midgard, Earth. He's demonstrated that in the comics numerous times, and he is the wielder of Hofund. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but that is the mystical sword that he wields, and it is basically has cosmic energies empowering it. So, the one other thing I did not note on here, but at during brief periods when Odin has to go into the Odin sleep, which he basically goes to sleep for like a week, that Heimdall is also the bearer of the Odin Force, or at least a portion of the Odin Force when he acts as regent of Asgard. So, moving on, let's take a look at what we might see ability wise. Now, he is not known to be the greatest combatant or this most durable, the most strongest, most strong guy out there. He's just a good guy. He's just a kind of like, I would say, besides his strength and regenerative ability, he's the average Asgardian. There's nothing denoting that he is any more durable or resistant than anybody else. But he does have, because of those acute senses, a weakness to anything that would attack the senses. So if anything, he would maybe have a weakness on the mystic side, but we're not going to do that right now. We're going to leave this at a 3 across the board, but I'm looking at the same thing, a 5 or a 6 for his health, and on the day side, as well as the healthy, medium size. That's pretty easy to get, or medium movement, size 2, it's kind of standard. And then I think he's on the lower end of the threat realm of the Asgardians. They might boost him up to a 4, but I really believe he's going to be a 3. Because he, like I said, he's not Thor. He's not as devastating as Scourge or as powerful as Loki. He's kind of on the low end of the Asgardians that we're seeing right now. Now let's take a look at what I'm kind of predicting his powers, and a lot of this is kind of a repeat. But if we don't get Sif as an alternate leader, which we know she has led in the comics, led the forces of Asgard, and we've also seen it in the Hulk versus Thor animated movie. So, just in case we don't see her, that prediction does not come true, we could be looking at an alternate leader, and we'll get to that in a second. But first up, let's take a look at the abilities. So first 2 are attacks. I think he might just have a couple basic attacks. The strike, typical range 2, this would be 5 dice, 0 power. He gains power equal to the damage dealt. This is kind of a normal thing, but because of his sword, because of that, the things that it can do, the cosmic energy and the flames, the intense heat that he can unleash with that, I think on a wild that he can incinerate on the target. I think that's a fair and valid point based on what that sword can do. And speaking of the sword, that's his next and only other attack is Hofund, Hofund. I know I'm mispronouncing it, and I apologize for that. I'm just going to call it Hofund or Hofund Unleashed. Range 3 attack. It is might not be a beam attack, but it's a ranged attack. 6 dice, 2 power, and the wild will push the target and or stun. Maybe even do incinerate. Just keep passing that incinerate around. But he's just not known for these devastating energy attacks. But I think because he can unleash it with that sword, I think just something short range, something small is a valid point. Plus, we have to give him some sort of other attack. Now, let's get on to his superpowers, and I'm going to go with a leadership ability here. So obviously, he would be our second leader for the Asgardians or Asgard. So that's his affiliation as Asgard, or is it Asgardian, whichever it is. We call it Regent of Asgard, and Asgardian affiliation characters can re-roll one die roll per activation, even if it's the comes up as the skull, which is the critical failure. And I'm owning this to him having access to the Odin Force plus his ability to see time and across time and space. This gives him the opportunity to the combination of those two power sets allow him to provide kind of like a tactical support by seeing the future that any other Asgardian would be going through, or anybody on that team, that squad, or that roster would, whatever they would be encounter, gives them opportunity to get a reroll. And it's only one; it's a minor thing, but once per activation, rerolling one skull, it could be really significant. And I think that is a good ability. Doesn't cost a power. Only once per activation per character. Cool. Now, maybe not even per activation. That might have to get reworded because you should be able to use it as also a reactive ability or for like a defensive role. So change that up to once per turn. So the next one, it would be a power. We call it the Bifrost. It's going to cost 4 power, and either Heimdall or another character are the targets of this. Another allied character are the targets of this power. You can move them range L from their current position. That's that ability basically of him to be able to activate the Bifrost and move people around. I think that, man, even if I think with it being a power 4 is kind of about the right power cost for moving another character range L, but drop it down, make it range M for 3 power. But I think this is a fairly good thing. That's can only be used once per activation, and he would have 2 innate abilities. The first one would be the healing factor to kind of cue in with his natural regenerative powers that he has historically, quote. And we keep it at a 1, keep it low, and then give him the normal Asgardian power where he gains 1 additional power in the power phase. I think that's a fair assessment of his powers, kind of some of the stuff that he is known for as Heimdall. And I think if we don't get another Asgardian, if that prediction does not come true, that we get Sif and the Warriors 3 as a grunt base, and her being the other leader, that Heimdall, who is least historically and documented to be in a regent of Asgard in Odin's place, perfect person to be the leader. I mean, what better person that can see across space and time and have all these other acute senses to be a leader? So I think that's valid. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Going into this product's coming out, everything seems to point for CP 102 and 81. So that's Black Swan, Supergiant, Heimdall, and Scourge. Everything points to, at least here in the U.S., they are saying it's going to be July 8th, 2022, according to Asmodee USA. Europe, let's see, I already lost the Europe page. The Europe, they're saying it's going to be released around the 10th of June. Now, is this accurate? Who knows, guys? Usually Europe gets stuff about a month prior. Does that mean we're not going to get it until July? It's possible, but who knows at this point. I'll be very surprised if they don't. Or actually, I won't be surprised because we have seen this before with Asmodee and Atomic Mass Games, where won't release anything for about 2 months for Marvel Crisis Protocol. They've done it twice before, and in 2 different years. So we'll go 2 months. So pretty much, because we got something in April, right? Yeah. So pretty much May and June we'll get nothing, and then coming up in July, that's when we'll probably get a big dump. Oh, there we go. So we'll probably get the card pack in June. So June 10th for the US, we'll get that. And maybe, just maybe, we'll finally get the Quinjet that's been pushed off multiple months. I don't know. So I did some digging also on Crimson Dynamo and Darkstar, Urza, and Red Guardian. I wanted to go in and verify a number of items like the global trade numbers, the SKU numbers and such. So everything right now is currently showing this is 100% legit. It's not a deep fake. Obviously, it would get companies like, say, Games Island and the other and Asmodee in trouble for advertising something on their web pages that was not real. It's not unheard of. It's just extremely rare. It puts them in a position, especially when you make it possible to pre-order an item for something that doesn't exist. But I wanted to double check just in case it was very shady. So I checked a number of things like the global trade index numbers, check the SKU numbers. Everything comes back legitimate as Asmodee or Asmodee North America. Asmodee North America using like a 12-digit code. Everything does match up. That doesn't mean that we still might not see this product. There could be a reason they go, you know what, we're just gonna take a loss on this and not release it. I doubt it. Now, I am keeping track of bills of lading and shipping containers like I used to with Games Workshop when that stuff would be sent over and they would arrive in port and we'd take a look at the contents of the bill of lading. So far, I don't have any updated bill of ladings for Asmodee North America, and unfortunately, it's nothing they get to hide. A lot of that stuff is available if you know where to look. So right now, just so you guys have an understanding, this stuff ships from Yantian. I might be pronouncing that, from China, and at least here in the U.S., it arrives in Tacoma, Washington. Thankfully, and it doesn't arrive in the port of Los Angeles because we know how much of a cluster F it is over there in Los Angeles. So this stuff does arrive in Washington, then gets shipped out across the U.S. and probably the rest of North America, Canada and such. So it's something I'm going to be paying attention to as we get closer to these release dates. I'll be doing some data mining along with a few others for not only Atomic Mass Games, but we watch Games Workshop, we watch Warlord Games and a few others just to get a sneak peek of what's coming out. Because sometimes, especially Games Workshop, they will start shipping stuff and start building up stock here in the U.S. before they announce, hey, this is going to be released in 2 or 3 months. They'll go, hey, here's Tyranids, and 2 months later it becomes available. Well, they've already had it in country for 2 or 3 months, maybe even prior to that announcement. So I'd like to kind of get a jump on these things and do a little deep diving to see what's already available here, and we're just sitting on waiting for it to be released. It's hard to find this stuff, but I definitely like doing. I've got a lot of free time on my hand when I'm not painting other people's stuff. So anyways, let me know what you guys think of this. Are you guys excited about Heimdall and Scourge and Black Swan and Supergiant? What do you think of Heimdall's stat cards that I talked about here? Am I on the money? Am I off? I know some of you guys have discussed with me offline with this, and I do like the feedbacks. It does help me refine my kind of character analysis and stat card analysis for these sort of things. So I've got to get painting and assembling some bases, or not even bases, but getting some stuff primed and based. Tomorrow's my first day playing Song of Ice and Fire. I'm going to be at Texas Toy Soldiers. I'm super excited about this. I wanted to play this game since I saw the miniatures. Even though I'm not a fan of Game of Thrones, I wanted to play it. It looks awesome. So if you're there tomorrow, chat up with me and we'll maybe shoot the crap about Marvel Crisis Protocol. Anyways, you guys have yourself a wonderful weekend. If you get a chance, go see the Doctor Strange 2 movie. If that interests you, I think you'll enjoy it. And I'll chat with you guys later. See ya.